Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark, a.k.a. Derringer. Today is Sunday, September 16th, and you are listening to episode 174 of the Instant Action Podcast, your weekly source for Planetside 2 news and information. As always, I'm brought to you by great listeners like you via the Support the Show tab on instantactionpodcast.com. So how is everyone doing out there in Planetside 2 land? I don't know about you, but I've been splitting my time between Planetside 2 and World of Warcraft, also playing the Battlefield 5 beta, playing the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 beta, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later into the show, but it seems like there's a lot of things vying for my time in addition to Planetside 2 lately, but I'm still finding the time to play. In addition to that, I've got soccer and a board game night, and my week just feels like I don't have enough time for everything that I want to do. But like I said, did get some time for Planetside 2 this week. Surprisingly, after the show where I talked about the pistol changes, how I wanted the changes for the sidearms with the Stalker when you're using the implant, it kind of made me want to play Stalker Infiltrator a little bit more. And so all my play sessions this week, and if you're watching this week's show on YouTube, you're going to see it as well, a bunch of Infiltrator gameplay where I'm running around with the Derringer pistol killing people. And It's been a while since I've done that because you guys know me. I play Engineer more than I play anything else. But I do play Stalker Infiltrator when the itch needs to be scratched, and that turns out to be this week. And I think I'll probably play a little bit more of that before I sideline it again to do some other stuff. I still have that dream of being one of the first people, if not the first, to Araxium the Derringer pistol. Because unfortunately, there's quite a few people. Well, not quite a few. There's 5 people out there that have finished it. But certainly, if I worked hard on it, I could be in top 10 if I really wanted to. But that's neither here nor there. Because we actually have a show to talk about this week, and unfortunately, not a heck of a lot going on in the world of Planetside 2 this week, so this could be a little bit shorter show. I'll just warn you guys with that up front. But the good news is, right in the middle, I do have another veteran's voice for Romus to fill some of the time. But with that, what's going to go on this week's show? Well, first, I'm going to cover the extremely small September 11th hotfix for the PC. Then I'm going to follow it up with some requests from the Planetside 2 devs themselves and from the Reddit moderators. After that, I want to talk about those 2 new games that are taking up some of my time, Battlefield 5 and Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And then I'm going to close the show with some more listener email. So strap in as we hot drop into another episode of the Instant Action Podcast. And like I said, that first topic is the September 11th PC hotfix. It was an extremely small hotfix. All that it did was make some changes to performance on the PC side. And they wrote that there were some mechanical changes were made to the construction system to improve server and client performance. They don't go into any more detail than that on the actual forum post itself. But there were also Reddit posts regarding it, and someone specifically spoke to Drew about it, and we all know Drew does a lot of the major construction-related stuff, as well as other things in the game. I don't want to give you the impression that this is all that Drew does, because Drew does an awful lot within the game. And just kind of an aside on that, Drew is like, he used to kind of be in the background. You didn't hear too much about him. He's front and center in everything now, and I personally got to say that I absolutely love that. Maybe it also helps that whenever he and I are in a squad together, he He waves at me and says hello before I even have a chance to do it to him. And really that makes me feel freaking special when a dev says hello to me before I can say hello to them. He's also told people what his character names are in game. I mean, he plays as DBG Drew. He plays as Low Ping Drew on Connery. And, he's very open and a big part of the community right now. I see him on the community Discord all the time. I see him on the joke Discord that I'm in with my outfit, talking to people, interacting with people. He's taken to the community like a fish to water, and I have to say that I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm not going to say that the other devs aren't as involved with everything as well, but I don't see as much interaction from Paul, even though I know there's some out there. You obviously see a lot of interaction from Rel. That's been going on forever. You see a smattering of interaction here and there with Roxy as well. She's pretty good at it. Nick pops in every now and then and responds to things, but certainly not as much as Rel and now Drew are doing within the game itself. And I think it's awesome that he's jumping in the way he is and interacting with people, getting feedback from people, and even the next topic I'm going to talk about, you'll see that as well. But again, back on point, the actual person who talked to him was Ahorns, which I like a lot. He spoke to Drew about it yesterday, he said, and Drew was proud about it, and the server impact should be lessened. Basically, what was happening was that construction was making too many calls in the background, and that was throttling the server. So what this should do is the fix will slow down construction and free up resources within the game itself, and that should give us all a little bit better performance in the game than what we have been experiencing in the past on the PC side. Obviously, this is something that isn't going to make its way to the PS4 side because you guys don't have construction yet. But again, that was the extent of this particular patch itself. Not a lot to it, just this one minor change, but could be a big change in the long run. Now, this is also piggybacked on top of whatever the other changes that they're making, performance related stuff that they've teased on the most recent dev live stream. I don't think we've seen everything that they're doing for that, so there still is some other stuff going on in the background that we should see sooner rather than later. I do expect us to get something else, maybe not by the end of September, but certainly in October. And I wouldn't be surprised if that gets piggybacked on top of the Halloween event that we'll see in October as well. But again, that is the September 11th PC Hotfix. In a nutshell, let's move on to our second topic this week. And topic this too, even though I just spent some time saying that that Paul doesn't interact with the community as much as everybody else, he actually put a dev response and dev post up asking, got a Planetside 2 video playlist for us to watch. And Paul writes, good morning, my lovelies. Next to the Planetside 2 section of the office, we have 2 monitors that we run PS2 content on during the day, usually a YouTube playlist and a Twitch stream. While we love Robert Stoneman, we've been watching his videos on loop for too long. So he says, do you have any awesome PS2 YouTube playlists for us to play in the office? And of course, any shit posts will be ignored. And he did actually also include a picture of the office itself, which shows the 2 monitors that they have up on the wall and exactly what they're watching at this particular picture's time. But an interesting request from the folks over at Daybreak Games, specifically Planetside 2, is that they like to watch the stuff that you put together. So this is a direct call out. If you guys have any videos that you want them to watch, this is your chance. Get over to the Reddit post. I'll include a link to it in this week's show notes, and you can put, specifically stuff that you want them to watch. I will say that, Paul, if you do want anything to watch, I don't know if you have audio or not, but certainly every week I put a podcast up on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/Mark Derringer, you can find every show going all the way back to episode 100, believe it or not. So, I mean, this is over a year ago that I've been doing this. So, episode 100 all the way to 173, including the April Fool's episode is up as well. And some of them have videos of me doing live streaming. Some of them have the majority of them are videos of just my gameplay that I've recorded, and it's all just random gameplay that I've thrown together during whatever I'm doing at that time. Last week's show, episode 173, I did a lot of Derringer pistol montage stuff. Nice kills that I had gotten and I was proud of. And this week's show is going to have the same thing, Derringer pistol montage during my regular gameplay sessions. So, Paul, if you listen to this week's show, you'll have 74 at least episodes that are anywhere from a half hour to 45, 50 minutes long. So, I mean, if you multiply that by your standard 8-hour day, even on the short end, that's 2,220 minutes or 37 hours of videos or at least 4.5 days. So I think some of them are even longer. So if you were to actually start on episode 100 and just watch straight through, I have 5 days worth of videos that you guys can watch and just have running up on your monitor at all times. So there you go. I've got a full week for you already done in case you take a listen to this. And maybe I should reply on that thing right now. Hold on. Let me do that. We're going to do that live right now. Hey, Paul. No, I won't do it live right now. I'll finish up that post on my personal time a little later. But the good news is there's lots of responses to this. So, a whole bunch of other people that I know are posting stuff out there. Various people that play awesomely at this game are posting their videos. Other outfits are posting all different things that they use for training videos. Somebody posted the Planetside 2 devs read mean tweets, which I had forgotten all about, and watched that one over again. It was hilarious. Like I said, tons and tons of stuff out there. So honestly, not only can you use this to go and recommend a specific video for Paul and everybody else in the office to watch, but if you want to actually see an awesome collection of Planetside 2 related videos, you should take a moment and scroll through this stuff and watch all the various things that people are posting, because there's some amazing videos in here. And a lot of them I've watched, yet I watched a whole bunch of them over again just to see exactly what was out here. But again, tons and tons of good videos in here. If you're curious about stuff that people are producing in Planetside 2 related videos, and of course my videos themselves, I have to use this as a plug. So that's the second topic this week. And like I said, we do have an episode of Veterans Voice this time around. And I know Romus is actually doing some construction this week. So take it away, Romus.
We're on the road. In this case, eastbound and down. Cue the Burt Reynolds. Oh, I just made myself sad. Anyway, back on topic. Right now, I'm doing one of my favorite guilty pleasures, driving around in my Ant. Nanite Systems, as you can tell, does a fairly decent job of getting me a Bluetooth connection so you can hear me on my mobile device. That being said, I can hear a few people now rolling their eyes. Construction, Romas. What a waste of your time and certs. Wrong, me bucko. Construction is a very important part of Planetside, especially if you're on PC. I'm sorry, console players, you're not there yet. You're missing out on a lot of fun. The ability to put down walls and turrets, and especially the orbital strike and the flail, means that you can change the battlefield in a big hurry just by yourself. The ability to wreck any base that you're attacking, or push the defenders back with a well-placed VoIP from the heavens means it's worth the investment of certs, and if you have the spare cash, daybreak money, or as I like to call them, SMED bucks, for those of you who've been around as long as I have. It's actually a very small investment if you want to get started. You get some walls, you get your ant, you get a silo, and you can invest in your flail, orbital strike, or a shield structure module, and a repair module. Sounds like a lot, but it's really all you need, especially with a flail. There's no indication of where it's coming from, or that one even exists, until you start pelting the armor. Try walling off a section of road, so that way the friendlies can travel through a gate shield or around a wall, but it's going to delay an enemy armor column. You can then drop a flail in behind them. It's a lot of fun. It's real useful. Remember, the only difference between a scrub lord and a Superman is learning from your mistakes. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go kill this stupid NC ant. The bastard keeps leaving only 20 damn cordium in every node. Get back here, you freedom monster. I'll show you how to liberate anybody. Jackass.
You know, he was probably talking about me at the end there, so Romus calling me a jackass. I'm probably that NC player who is only leaving 20 cordium in every node going forward, so, you know, thanks for that. But moving on, topic number 3 this week is going to be about exploit videos and responsible disclosure. So recently on the Planetside Reddit, head moderator RoyAwesome wrote, "Hey folks, I've been seeing more and more people just post exploits publicly and not even attempt to report the issues to Daybreak." And he says he knows because he's been told as much. And he wanted to remind everybody, just so they know, on the Planetside subreddit, they practice responsible disclosure. This means that if you want to post videos of exploits and the like, you may only do so after you've reported them to Daybreak and given them a reasonable amount of time, and that reasonable amount of time is at least a month or two, to fix it. This includes things like out-of-bounds exploits, clipping through walls, or other bugs that can be exploited. He goes on to say that if you don't know how to report a bug or an exploit, you can use the /bug in-game code to send a direct report to the team. He says that you can also mod mail the moderators on the Planetside subreddit, and they'll make sure that Daybreak gets the bug report as well. And he said a big thanks for that. And clearly there's been an uptick in the number of people posting exploits and bugs onto here without doing a report or a /bug or using the unofficial Daybreak Games issue tracker, which is another thing that you should be using if you're coming across various bugs. You're not doing the best thing that you can do by not reporting that in-game. And I've got Roy's back on this one because, you got to give the devs a chance to correct this before you just, broadcast some of these bugs out to everybody, or especially an in-game exploit. Because if you're just throwing up a video of an in-game exploit without reporting it or letting the devs know about it, you're inviting as many other people as possible that as view it to go and use that exact same exploit in the game without the devs being able to fix it. And that's just shitty all around. You should just kind of think before you do something like that, because if you've had an awful time of that exploit, just imagine if you put it out there and then 25 other people copy that exploit and now it's just running rampant through the game itself. That's just certainly not the way to go. Now, in addition to this post, Drew commented on it also, and he says that also if you need to report an exploit, that you can feel free to message him on Reddit or message him through the PS2 Discord. He says that it helps him build a list of bugs that I can clean up. He also wants you to note that even if I know the bug is there, he can't fix them all instantly, and some things do take time to fix. They're not just instantaneous, snap your fingers, flip a switch, and a certain bug is fixed or is not fixed. So more than anything, this is just kind of a PSA to think before you post video of an exploit or just start complaining about a bug, make sure that you've done your due diligence first and gone through and reported it through the required channels before you just throw something up like that. Yes, I know you can get frustrated thinking that the devs aren't listening to you or they don't care about a bug that you've been talking about for a while. But like Drew says, some of them take longer to fix than others, and we just kind of got to be patient on that. So again, just a PSA. And with that, let's move on to the fourth and final topic this week before we do some listener email. All right, that fourth and final topic is about Battlefield 5 and Call of Duty Black Ops 4 because, like I said, if you're like me, these things are screaming in your face every single day. And you might be asking yourself, why am I going to play a game that is almost 6 years old? Don't forget Planetside 2's birthday is in November. Why would I play a game that's almost 6 years old when I can play one of the new hotness games that are out there right now? And I'm not going to lie when I say that the same thing is happening to me as well. Last weekend during the Battlefield 5 open beta, I played a lot of it. I had some fun playing it. There were some other things that I didn't like about it. This weekend is the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 beta, and now granted, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is really only opening up their Battle Royale mode and not all their other stuff, which I wish they would do because I'd like to test some of that stuff out. But still, both of these things are in your face right now and screaming for you to purchase them. So what are my thoughts on both of these games? Well, to begin with, I'm a much bigger Battlefield fan than I am a Call of Duty fan, and I'm a much bigger fan of open combat and not Battle Royale games. I mean, I've played, you name the Battle Royale game, I've played it, whether it was PUBG back in when it was in beta, I never purchased it on live, or Fortnite, which obviously is free to play. I played that horrible Cliff Burton game. I don't even remember the name of it. That's how bad it was. And I haven't gone back to that one. I'm not a huge fan of Battle Royale games. It's just, I understand their niche and I understand why some people enjoy playing them. You know, you've got your flat 100 people, you go at it, it's king of the hill, last group standing wins or last player standing wins, and it can be really exciting if you're the last player and you win that thing, and I certainly get that. But those Battle Royale games, to me, just don't have that same feeling of a persistent back and forth battle because, you know, you're in, you get one life and you're done. I much prefer a game where you can spawn back into the game again and continue to play it. So again, those are just more than anything not my certain cup of tea, but I know a lot of people like them. Obviously, Fortnite does huge numbers. Even the H1Z1 does huge numbers still, even though not as much as it did. But I mean, I played that one too. I played all of them. Again, not a huge fan of the Battle Royale. Of course, my outfit's going to be playing Black Ops tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if we all jump in and play on that, and I'll probably play on that too. But I'm more a fan of the Battlefield 5. And what I like most about Battlefield 5 is that it's going back to its World War II roots, which I am a huge World War II buff. Many of you know I have a degree in history from college, and World War II is one that I love. Civil War is one that something that I love and love learning about and getting more information on. So the fact that Battlefield's going back to its roots to play in another World War II game, I don't want to spend the money on it, but I'm afraid that this is going to suck me back in, and I'm going to end up playing Battlefield 5 again, even though I didn't have the most fun out of everything in the beta. It didn't seem to run as well as I would have liked it to. There were other parts that I didn't like about it, but there were tons of parts that I did like about it because it had that huge nostalgia. So if you have any nostalgia for Battlefield 1942, you might be looking at Battlefield 5 as well, and that's going to take some of your playing time away from Planetside 2. Now, the biggest thing that I didn't like about both Battlefield 5 and the few times that I played Call of Duty Black Ops 4 so far this weekend is that it just doesn't have that same size that Planetside 2 has. Sure, Battlefield still has your 64-player maps, and those can be pretty big, and a lot of stuff can be going on, but they're nothing compared to, battling on Indar, nothing compared to battling on Amrish, or Hassan, or any of that, or Osher that's coming up. And I do kind of feel that the devs pushing Osher is a direct response to Battlefield 5 and Call of Duty Black Ops 4 coming out. I mean, these are two huge AAA titles that are going to be stealing players from Planetside 2. And how best do you get players back into Planetside 2? Release a new continent that they've never played on. So I know the devs have said end of year they're looking for Osher. I wouldn't be surprised if they started pushing it sooner rather than later so that they can compete with Battlefield 5 and COD Black Ops 4. Because let's face it, Call of Duty is releasing next month, October 14th. Battlefield 5 is releasing the month after that, November 20th. That puts us near end of year. If Planetside 2 devs were doing it as quickly and as possible, they would release Osher as the 6th anniversary of Planetside 2 on November 12th and then beat Battlefield 5. That's what I would do if I was the marketing person for Planetside 2 or community manager for Planetside 2, or if I was doing Nick's job, that would be one thing that I would push to try and get them to get out in time to kind of take away the thunder of Black Ops and then steal it from Battlefield 5, even though I think you might lose some people to Battlefield 5 anyways, just because it's the new shiny game that is out there. So I know this is kind of just a opinion piece at the end of this week's show. If you're looking to what I'm probably going to do, I'm probably going to purchase Battlefield 5 at this juncture. I doubt that I'll be purchasing Call of Duty, even though I've played mostly all of them. I just don't feel that this is the one that I'm going to jump into. Maybe my mind will change before then. But again, because Battlefield is going back to World War II, I'm most likely in on that game, even though it will never have the same scope and scale as Planetside does and continues to have for me. So I'm guessing Battlefield 5 is probably going to come out in November. January, you're going to see Osher, even though I wish they'd bring it out sooner. And then it'll be all hands back on deck for Planetside 2 at that point. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop podcasting, so you don't have to worry about that. I will continue to bring you all the news for Planetside 2. And who's to say I even purchased Battlefield 5? It's 2 months away. Everything might change before then. But I at least wanted to give you guys my opinions on the two games, because I'm sure a lot of you are forming your same opinions as well. But with that, let's finish up this week's show and move on to housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
Housekeeping.
Go away.
I coming anyway?
And I did get 2 emails. So first off, from Phoenix Briggs, he wrote, sorry about my mind with that last beta email. It's been a long time. Yes, I will be sending an email based on how I view the week's podcast. Deal with it. Getting ground sounds pretty nice in the fact that it will allow more frontline combat instead of all at places like the Bastion. Orders chat is gone. Finally. It was really annoying. I use minor cloak on everything, and during a firefight, I just turn cloak and miss that one shot, and then my squad dies. Good that they fixed that. Less sway on the smoke rush optics. Impulse grenades, are you serious? The flash cloak one is good because it's bad on PS4 with Vanu, and shotgun flash thunder camping. I vote for a 4-second for the cloak. Stalker Infiltrator is the best. Actually infiltrate, knife kills, and getting generators. PS4 Valkyrie Pilot of the TR, Phoenix Briggs, signing off. Well, Phoenix Briggs, you kind of threw everything all in there. I'm glad that you like Getting Ground. I agree, Getting Ground is good. It's really good on PC side. The fights are so much better on those. Orders chat, I'm not 100% agreeing with you on that. Maybe it was definitely annoying on PS4. It wasn't as annoying as I felt it was on the PC side. I have minor cloak unlocked on one character. I don't even use it. Impulse grenades, yeah, I'm serious, but they're never going to come to live, unfortunately. Even though I did email, or I was chatting back and forth with Nick this week, and let me pull that up and see what he said here. I had thanked him for retweeting me, and he said that he was glad that I liked the impulse grenades, and he wishes that they could do more with physics impulses without breaking the game. So currently that just tells you that they can't put that in anytime soon because it's going to break the game. And he also did say that the Wraith Cloak nerf is probably not going out to live the way it is on test, by the way. And I think we kind of all knew that. So maybe your 4-second cloak is the way to go. Phoenix Briggs, like you said, because Nick says it's not going to go with 10 seconds like it is currently on live. But thank you for that email, and feel free to send in one each week if that's what floats your boat. Next, I also got an email from Louie, and he wrote, "Hey, Mark, do you think that the addition of Soltech opens up a possibility to merge Connery with Emerald?" Louie, the short answer to that is yes. The long answer to that is I think that you're going to lose quite a bit of the population on Connery as they move over to Soltech. As long as everything is working correctly or how the devs expect it all to work. I mean, Nick has said multiple times that, they want to set it up and they want to allow people to move both ways so that you can test out both sides and see how it feels before making an ultimate decision. So I'm confident that they're going to go the direction that they want to go and make sure everything works smoothly with the opening of Soltech. But again, I do think that if Soltech works as well as they expect it to, that you're going to see a mass exodus of players from Connery. And then you're going to be left off with a very small remainder of those Connery loyalists that are left over. And then as we move down the road, as Planetside 2 loses players, which unfortunately as games age, that happens, I do think that it's going to open up the possibility to merge Connery with Emerald. Do I think that it's going to be this year or next year? No, I think we're probably at least a year, if not more, down the road before we see any type of merger like that within the game itself. So, I know you want to play with me on Emerald, and maybe that's what's going to happen, Louis. So maybe if you try and get people to leave the game by C4 ferrying them a little bit more, maybe it'll happen faster than that. But thank you for the email, Louis. Curious, feel free to respond to me and let me know what your thoughts are. So that's it for this week's show, though. But how can you get in touch with me or the show? Well, as always, your first stop should be to visit my website, www.instantactionpodcast.com. You can email me, instantactionshow@gmail.com, like Phoenix Briggs and Louie did. You can also call me and leave me a voicemail, 347-4VM-4PS2 or 347-486-4772. Follow the show on Twitter. It's at InstActPodcast, or follow me directly on Twitter. I'm at The Derringer. But in closing, if you've enjoyed the show, please leave me a review on your podcast listening avenue of choice, whether it's Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere else. Speaking of, I know Stitcher just got a recent update, so if you haven't used that in a while, you should definitely check it out. Also, feel free to tell your friends and outfit mates about the show. And finally, thanks for listening, and keep spamming that Join Combat, formerly known as Instant Action button.
Get your arms combined.